Theophilus simply means loved of God. And so scholars, as they look at this, they debate as to whether Theophilus was just an honorific that he was giving to all of the believers, both present and future, who would read this account of Jesus's life. In other words, he is writing this detailed account for the beloved of God, you and me, and all of those who would ever read this gospel. Others say that Theophilus might have been a lawyer that was defending Paul when he was in court. And so Luke is giving this account so that this lawyer can understand the background and backdrop as to why Paul is living his life so dedicated to this gospel and ministry of Jesus Christ. Some say that he might have been a royal official. Some say that he might have been a Jewish official of high importance from Egypt. And some people say we really don't know. We just don't know. And I thought that this was an important part of the story because sometimes we don't know who it is that we're writing for, but we know what we're writing is important. And so this morning, I just want you to know that whoever Theophilus was, I'm going to take the assumption this morning that he's talking about you and I. And I'm so grateful that Luke took the opportunity and the time to get the details right. I'm so grateful this morning that Luke took the opportunity to read between the lines, to understand every single detail, so that you and I didn't have to take anybody's word for it, so that you and I didn't have to move and act off of half information, so that you and I could decide what we believe and what we think about Jesus with all of the details and the facts. I'm so grateful for Luke this morning because he allows us an opportunity to look at Jesus through a lens that is in real time. That we get an opportunity to understand Jesus in real life. Could you imagine not knowing Jesus in his real life? What his day-to-day looked like? What was going on around him? What was going on with his family? Could you imagine having to believe in a Savior who we only heard about in heaven but was not down here on earth dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with, that was not down here subject to all of the challenges and struggles that we go through, that was not down here seeing all of the things that were going on in the world? Could you imagine a Jesus that was unengaged, uninformed, and disconnected, and still trying to be the Savior of the whole world, even though he did not understand our struggles? Could you imagine serving a Savior or believing in a Savior who was not there, who was not connected, who was not a part of what was going on? And so this morning, Luke writes to us so that we can be educated, informed, and empowered. Tell your neighbor, I want to be educated. I want to be informed. I want to be empowered. Tell somebody else, I want to be educated. I want to be informed. I want to be empowered. See, too many Christians have walked around their whole life believing in a Jesus that they did not know was connected to them. Too many people have been walking around believing in a Jesus that they did not know the background story, that they did not know what was going on in his neighborhood, that they did not know what was going on with his family, that they didn't even know what was going on in his heart. But Luke this morning allows us to peek into a gospel that tells us not just about who Jesus was as a Savior, but who he was as a citizen. It allows us to see Jesus Christ that would walk through Skid Row. It allows us to see Jesus Christ standing in a line wrapped around the church waiting for the toys for his son. It allows us to see Jesus Christ standing in a soup line waiting for a meal. It allows us to see Jesus Christ waiting for a shelter bed. It allows us to see Jesus Christ at the voting booth voting for rights. It allows us to see Jesus Christ speaking up against the government and against the church. It allows us to see Jesus showing up for people when nobody else would show up for them. It allows us to see Jesus speaking of Luke. I don't know if I would know what to do without the Jesus of Luke, because without the Jesus of Luke, I don't know how to deal with the government. Without the Jesus of Luke, I don't know how to deal with a church that does not love God's people. Without the Jesus of Luke, I don't know how to deal with what to do when the children are in need. Without the Jesus of Luke. I'm grateful this morning that Jesus showed me, that Luke showed me a Jesus that understood what was going on in my neighborhood and going on in my home and going on in my church and going on in my community. I'm thankful this morning that Luke decided to show me that Jesus was somebody I could connect with.